Let's call case 2117-78. This is a Moab case. Moab City versus Ms. Morgan represents the defendant, Mr. And I'm not sure who's appearing on behalf of the city today. It looks like Ms. Wade Grover. Is that you?
It is, Your Honor.
All right. So this is here. There are two motions pending before the court today. There's a motion to dismiss the case based on evidence spoliation. There's also a motion to dismiss the case under Rule 25. I want to address the Rule 25 motion first of all. I've reviewed both the state's response as well as Ms. Morgan's original motion. Ms. Grover, it doesn't, the statute requires physical injury. And I don't see how you're getting there. Can you tell me?
Yeah, Your Honor. I mean, it does describe any other conditions which is detrimental to the child's health or welfare. And so I know physical injury can include things such as pain. It doesn't necessarily mean bruises and so forth. But in total honesty, Your Honor, we understand that Ms. Morgan has a fairly strong case on her Rule 25 issue. It wasn't briefed or really raised, well, briefly raised, but not ruled on below. We've looked into it since the appeal was made, and we're not trying to act as if we have the strongest defense on that motion. We're aware of that.
I appreciate that candor. I don't think it's there. I think the statute does require physical injury. I think that it requires something more. I know your motion talks, or your response talks about a noticeable negative impact. And I can appreciate sort of the position of law enforcement, but here this was a child left in a car in 45 to 50 degree weather. And I don't think that the bill of particulars meets the requirements of Rule 25 to continue in the case. And so I am going to dismiss the case based on the Rule 25 motion. I think it's dispositive, so I'm not going to take any evidence on the spoliation issues, but I do want to give some guidance, and this is, you haven't appeared in front of me, Ms. Grover, before, so I do want to tell you my experience with Moab PD is long and varied. And there has been a history there with some officers who have quite a reputation of misusing their body camera equipment. And it's been an institutional problem. And I'm sure that there will be people there who take issue with my perspective on that, but it's a problem that has cropped up in the past at very important times. And I've been convinced in the past that the way that some officers have handled their body cam equipment has been very detrimental to a fair process. And so, Ms. Morgan, I think just as a matter of guidance, as you're instructing your law enforcement people in Moab City, that from my perspective, you know, under the statute, and I don't know if that's the case here. I've reviewed Judge O'Donnell's ruling, and I don't know if the case here is necessarily indicative of that, but under the statute, dismissal for a body camera malfunction by itself is not enough to dismiss, but constitutionally, I think evidence spoliation is enough to dismiss. And so in the past, my experience with some officers with Moab PD is that there's been what I would characterize as spoliation of evidence. And I don't know if that's the case here or not. Judge O'Donnell thought so. And she didn't have a Rule 25 motion before her really to address. And I think she probably came to the right outcome based on the evidence that she received. But from my perspective, officers need to check their body cameras the same way they would check their firearms or their tasers. And in modern policing, interactions with defendants require that kind of care on behalf of officers. And so if I do see these kinds of actions in the future where body cameras have been turned on and turned off and not charged and not activated, there's likely to be some traction gained in my court for spoliation motions, just because I think Moab PD has a history that lacks quality oversight. So that's just a comment outside the evidence of the case if it's helpful, but it definitely is something that has concerned the court in the past and is concerning to me now. So given that, though, my ruling is based on the Rule 25 motion. I appreciate your candor, but I am going to dismiss the case based on that. Anything else we need to do on this case then?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Ms. Grover. Thank you.